The New York Jets shocked the world, coming back from a 13-point deficit in under 2 minutes to complete the comeback and beat the Cleveland Browns. Before we get into it, I'll ask if you enjoy this at any point, be sure to hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. We're going to dive right into this game. So the Jets won this game 31-30 on the back of an incredible passing performance from Joe Flacco and the rookies stepping up. Breece Hall caught a touchdown, went for 60 total yards on, I believe, 8 touches. Definitely got to get him more touches moving forward, clearly. And then in addition to that, they got some great contribution and a breakout game out of none other than Garrett Wilson, their 10th overall pick. A lot of people felt like they might trade that pick away for Tyreek Hill at one point, but right now, you got to like what you see out of Garrett Wilson through 2 games. He had his breakout 8 reception, 100-plus yard, and 2 touchdown game, and every touchdown was needed. He caught the game-winning go-ahead touchdown that ended up sealing the game. This was a huge win for the Jets. I had them winning this game, but I felt like this game was over when they were down by 13 with 2 minutes to go, just like pretty much anybody should at that moment. But the Jets hung in there. They continued to fight. And yes, they gave up a touchdown, but I will actually say this right now. The Rams were criticized back in 2018 by a lot of sports bettors and such fantasy owners that they didn't score a touchdown that Todd Gurley easily had to walk into the end zone. Well, in this game, it kind of shows you why that team took that approach. The Jets could have lost this game if Nick Chubb doesn't go in the end zone. Actually, there's literally 0 chance the Jets have of winning the game if the Browns just simply run down the clock and don't score. Well, they scored. And so it gave the Jets an opportunity to throw a bomb down the field, a complete lapsing coverage thrown to Corey Davis, monster throw by Flacco right out of the gates to then get that touchdown and then get the onside kick and then go down and score another touchdown. This is everything that the Jets wanted to see out of Joe Flacco, who no, this is not going to be a quarterback controversy. He is not the better quarterback, and he is not going to start moving forward. But he's off to a good start. He is top 3 in the league in passing, and he's given the Jets every chance and then some to potentially win the first 2 games of the season. Now, here's the problem, okay? The problem is the first game, the defense showed up, and they were great. The offense simply didn't. Joe Flacco dealt with some drops. He had some hard times in the pocket, was pressured a ton. So now, even though the Jets are dealing with all these injuries on the offensive line, you talk about losing Mekhi Becton for the year, then they signed Dwayne Brown, now they're losing him, they're starting rookie right tackle Max Mitchell, and there's a lot of things that are going on here. However, Joe Flacco had some protection in this game, and Joe Flacco in the offense was humming in this one. A far cry from last week. And I'll say this, if this offense showed up in any capacity to what they showed up this week, they would have won last week and they'd be 2-0. But looking at this game, to come back, when this defense could not stop a nosebleed, Jacoby Brissett was tearing through the Jets defense, and you can go through all the numbers. It supports everything I'm saying. You look at the missed tackles, Quincy Williams, LaMarcus Joyner, Jordan Whitehead, all of them struggled with missed tackles, 17. Now, I have to throw a quick little note in here, and I'm not necessarily trying to defend Jordan Whitehead, but there needs to be some context. Whitehead was playing through an injury that he very well could have been sat out with in this game, and probably should have. He wasn't the same. He's a great tackler, and he wasn't the same playing with this injury. So I think that did result in 4 missed tackles. The Jets have to tackle better. It's really that simple. They have to play better in coverage. They have to do what they did against the Ravens. I thought they had a great game plan, and they really stifled Lamar Jackson. Even though he threw 3 touchdowns, that was not the Lamar Jackson we saw this week against Miami. However, Jacoby Brissett, going from last week not really playing all that well to absolutely carving up and dicing up this defense, was just a little surprising to me, and it's not something I expected. I had the Jets winning this game because of the defense. I did not expect them to have to score 31, and I did not expect them to score 31, but they did, and because of that, they are 1-1 on the season. In addition to that, looking around the division, Miami came back 28-7 at halftime. They took the lead and then won the game 42-38 over that same Ravens team. So they're 2-0 in the division. The Bills play tonight, and the Patriots stole one in Pittsburgh, 17-14. So the Jets are tied with the New England Patriots for third place, 1-1. Miami's 2-0, and we'll see what ends up happening with the Bills. I believe they'll win that game. But the Jets are not out of anything, and they made that presence known when they won this game. Cleveland clearly thought they had the game in the bag, and the Jets came out firing on all cylinders when they needed to, and they came away with the win. It's a credit to Robert Saleh, who honestly just comes out and he says, you know what? We're not going to punt. We're going to throw a fake punt. I think that fake punt with Braden Mann was a huge reason they were able to stay in this game. They needed to continue that drive. They were able to score. They needed to do that. So there are things like that you see in a young coach in Saleh. He is learning. He's gaining confidence. He's gaining belief in this team. Joe Douglas also is doing that. I think they do have the secret ingredient to success. I really like what I'm seeing out of this team. And I've said it. I said it coming in the year. I think they win 9 games. Does that mean they go to the playoffs? Maybe not. But, I think they go 9-8. And I think that, they could win 10 games. And that might not even be enough for the playoffs. But this team is more loaded than you think. They have a lot of talent. They're not just the Jets. They're a good football team with a good coach, good offensive coordinator, a really nice direction with the front office, and they're playing without their starting quarterback and their franchise quarterback in Zach Wilson, who I imagine will be back in time for the Steelers game. And there's a good chance that the Jets might face rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett in that game, because Mitch Trubisky did not look very good yesterday, and I think that's probably around the time. Obviously, you're not going to see it on a short week with them playing on Thursday, but you could see a switch from Trubisky to Pickett in that game, so that's something to look forward to. But sticking with this game, going back to the offensive line, I thought, yeah, obviously George Fant struggled, right? You'd like to see better from him, but at the same time, he's going up against Myles Garrett. You're not going to win every battle there. Garrett definitely put some pressure on him, but at the same time, while he gave up 5 pressures, Fant didn't allow a sack. That was a big thing for me. And obviously, if you keep Flacco off the ground, you allow him to throw the football, Flacco can get it done, and he proved that in this one. In addition to that, the offensive line was pretty solid interior-wise. You only had 3 pressures given up by Elijah Vera-Tucker, 2 given up by Laken Tomlinson, only 1 by McGovern. None of them gave up sacks. The only one who gave up a sack was rookie right tackle Max Mitchell. 1 sack on the day is something that Jets fans will absolutely take after last week. So 1 sack on the day by a rookie right tackle who, yeah, people are going to get on for the sack, but I think he played a pretty good game, all things considered. I mean, this is a good defense. That's one thing you can't knock about the Cleveland Browns. They have developed and they have built a very good defense. And so I thought you saw some good things out of Max Mitchell, something to be very excited about moving forward, as the mid-round pick is already getting these really valuable reps, and he needs them because, he needs to be in there because Dwayne Brown's out. But just what he's been able to do in this game, I thought was, impressive. And yeah, again, sack, but I thought he played well. The pass rush did get to Brissett, not as often as Lamar Jackson 17 last week, but 13, that's pretty darn good. The Jets sit at 30 pressures on the year defensively through 2 games. That's averaging 15 a game. That is pretty darn good, and I think the Jets will definitely take that. They'll run with that. They'll continue to get better. John Franklin Myers had an injury scare. Sauce Gardner left the game, so, hope is that everything's good there. In addition to that, I wanted to give a shout out to John Franklin Myers as well as Carl Lawson, who were in the top 10 this week in pass rushers, according to PFF grades. So that's a hell of a job there. Once again, Joe Douglas putting together this defense, Robert Saleh defensive minded. You just got to love what you see early on out of this team. And we'll see if they can continue that momentum. They're going up against an 0-2 Cincinnati Bengals team back at MetLife, who is not very happy about losing a close one to the Steelers week 1 in overtime and losing a game down to the wire in Dallas without Dak Prescott. So the Bengals are 0-2. They're fresh off a Super Bowl, 0-2. We'll see what happens. Joe Burrow's leading the league in sacks. That's not a good thing you want to be leading the league in as a quarterback. So we'll see what the Jets can do, getting to him, causing some pressure, forcing some errant throws. We've already seen them. They've gone up against, one quarterback that's one of the best in all of football, in Lamar Jackson, and gave him some fits. Another quarterback they weren't so great against in Jacoby Brissett, but we'll see what happens with Joe Burrow. Bottom line, Zach Wilson comes back soon. The Jets are 1-1. The offense is humming right now. The defense has shown you that it can be a dominant force. And if those two things come together, you'll probably see a win this upcoming Sunday, or at least a very close game this upcoming Sunday against the reigning AFC champions. But until next time, I'm Jake Ellenbogen. If you enjoy this, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know what your thoughts were on the game. Once again, the Jets win 31-30, and they will move on next week to play Cincinnati. Take care, folks. Later.